Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Admiral, thank you for your 37 years of service.
Boy, when you say that, I just feel, it just sounds old.
No, you should feel proud. Feel strong. You know, you probably picked up on a theme today that this committee feels a sense of urgency about the Russian threat to our elections. This is not a personal criticism of you.
No, I understand.
We're frustrated that this administration has not lived up to its responsibility to do something about the Russian cyber action. Now, you told Senator Blumenthal and Senator McCaskill that not every cyber attack requires a cyber response. So I'd just like to follow up on that just a little bit here. The Pentagon cybersecurity strategy says, and I'm going to quote it to you, in response to certain attacks and intrusions, the United States may undertake diplomatic actions, take law enforcement actions, and consider economic sanctions. So I want to focus for just a minute on that last piece, sanctions. Congress overwhelmingly passed a law last year that, in part, required sanctions on individuals and companies that knowingly engage in malicious cyber activities on behalf of the Russian government. Those sanctions include freezing access and restricting travel. The Trump administration has not imposed these required sanctions. Admiral Rogers, I know that this is not your primary responsibility to impose the sanctions, but I want to ask a different question. What message does it send to Vladimir Putin that the United States has not fully implemented sanctions to counter known Russian cyber attacks?
You know, more broadly, not just the sanctions, but more broadly, my concern is I believe that President Putin has clearly come to the conclusion there's little price to play here.
Bingo.
And that, therefore, I can continue this activity.
Yes.
Everything, both as a director of NSA and what I see in the Cyber Command side, leads me to believe that if we don't change the dynamic here, this is going to continue. And 2016 won't be viewed as something isolated. This is something will be sustained over time. So I think the challenge for all of us is, so what are the tools available to us? And as the strategy says, diplomatic, economic, some cyber things, there are tools available to us. And again, I think in fairness, you can't say nothing's been done, but my point would be it hasn't been enough.
It hasn't been enough?
Clearly what we've done hasn't been enough. And,
that's right.
You know, I'm mindful of my role as an operational commander. But
yeah, no, I appreciate that. It hasn't been enough. It doesn't do us any good to have tools in the toolbox if we don't pick them up and use them. You know, Russia will keep trying to interfere in our elections. And if the Trump administration doesn't fully implement sanctions, then we're not using every tool we can to effectively deter Russia from undermining democracy in the future. Let me ask you one other question, if I can, Admiral. It's clear that the United States needs to step up its cyber game. And I want to follow up on a question from Senator Tillis. We've previously discussed the question of how to build a skilled cyber force. And you said that improving DoD's network defenses and building a cybersecurity culture depends on our ability to attract the most talented people out there. This committee is now considering reforms to the Defense Officer Personnel Management Act, or DOPMA, another one of our great acronyms. Love to talk about DOPMA, which governs how we recruit and retain our military officers. So with that in mind, Admiral, if you could make just one change to DOPMA to help attract the right technical talent for the cyber jobs of tomorrow, what would that be?
I'd want to make sure within a military construct, and to be honest, we use the phrase DOPMA because sounds terrible.
I always think
in a military standpoint, it would probably be, and the services are working their way through this, but I think we want to make sure that we have got a mechanism for a professional cyber force across a career, that this can't be viewed as something we do. Hey, we give you training, you do it for a few years, you go do something else, you know, then we bring you back, then you're gone again. That's not going to get us where we need to be. And the services are all, because they do man, train, and equip, you know, they provide capability that I as a joint, and that includes people and other things, but that I as the joint commander then harness to achieve specific mission outcomes as a joint commander. That would probably be the biggest thing.
Okay. It's actually very helpful to know. I know that the 2017 defense bill gave the Pentagon a lot of flexibility in how to recruit, but I remain concerned that our recruiting system is so focused on recruiting for the military of today that we're not effectively targeting the best talent and best suited talent to execute the missions we will face tomorrow. And so how we think about that, I think, is really important.
Yeah.
So thank you again. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your help.
Thanks, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.